This chapter was kind of short. Kind of made me feel like there were some pages missing or something. It just kind of felt like Oda wanted to intro these guys as soon as possible and then just get that out of the way. But anyway, it's the introduction of the RA commanders. But first, we have a cover page with Orlumbus resigning from his position. It says that he's the pioneer expeditioner. And he's talking to the King of Standing Kingdom, and he's just saying, like, I'm out, I'm gonna go and join Luffy. It kind of makes it seem as if the king was the person who gave Orlumbus money for his fleet. Which, if that's the case, that's another reference to Christopher Columbus, because the people who financed his voyages were, in fact, the King and Queen of Spain. So we start off at Kamabaka Kingdom. If you remember, this is the island that Sanji was pleasantly surprised to be sent to during the 2-year time skip. That's where he trained. It's kind of funny because there's like a giraffe sea king that's like swimming by the island, and even the sea king has like heart patterns on its coat, on its skin. And it's really cool to see familiar faces there. We have Dragon, Ivankov, Inazuma, Koala, Sabo. Okay, so all that's good and dandy. I do not see Hack, by the way. That was interesting. Where is Hack? But anyway, the thing though is that it's also a very bitter reminder that they lost their base in Baltigo, because Blackbeard showed up and destroyed it. You know, he destroyed Baltigo. It was in the news. And here's the thing, like, we don't know why the Revs ended up leaving Baltigo in the first place. Maybe it's because the location was compromised already. I mean, ZP0 showed up as well, and then Blackbeard was like, oh, we gotta leave, we gotta go. But before that, we don't know if it was because they were like, oh, we can't mess with Blackbeard anymore, we can't do that. Or if it was because it's like, no, like, this is a huge inconvenience for us, and we're not going to take the risk of having any casualties, especially not before we declare war against the Celestial Dragons. So I don't know if it was like a strategic exit from Baltigo, but either way, it just leaves a very bad taste in my mouth. The fact that they literally just lost their hometown, and now they're thinking about, yeah, we're going up against the Reverie, we're going up against the Celestial Dragons. Like, and I don't know how much security will be at the Reverie, but I mean, if there's like admirals there, like, what are they doing? What are they doing? I don't know how strong Dragon is, okay? I mean, he's the most wanted man in the world. So we don't know how strong he is. He has to be a top tier, I'm assuming. But still, you know, Dragon, if you're gonna show your feats, now's the time to show your feats. We know that my man Sabo was able to wreck Burgess pretty easily back in Dressrosa. Now against Fujitora, however, like Sabo, you could tell like he was struggling a little bit. It wasn't an easy thing. Like, and that fight never really got a proper conclusion anyway. But he was sweating. He had some scratches here and there. But the point that I'm trying to make is like, look, like Fujitora is an admiral, and Sabo at this point is second in command. Allegedly, like, he's like chief of staff, right? So he should be second in command right under Dragon. So that kind of gives you like some type of scale. We also know that Ivankov is not a pushover. Like, he or she is pretty strong to the point that she was kind of able to stall Akainu pre-time skip while Akainu was trying to chase Luffy and Jinbei. So, you know, that's like something to just keep into consideration. We don't even know if Akainu will be there. I'm just going to say that if Green Bull is not at the Reverie, he'll definitely be in Wano. But I just can't see the Reverie going down with at least one admiral being present. It's just way too important a meeting. We also find out that the Kingdom of Germa 66, has been kicked out of the world government because of what happened in Whole Cake Island. And so I thought to myself, wait, does that mean that the Germa are okay? Like, they're still alive, apparently? Because how can you be fired? How can you be kicked out of something when you're already kind of dead? Like, that just wouldn't make any sense. So I don't know, is this a hint to their survival? I don't know. But at the very least, they're no longer capable or allowed into the Reverie. And so apparently now Dragon thinks that it's a good idea to declare war to the Celestial Dragons. And I don't want to doubt Dragon. I really don't. I want to believe that he can do this, but man, this chapter just gave me bad vibes, like really bad vibes all over the place. And I'll get into why. It's just something is going to go down, and I think I know what it is. And if I were in Vegas, I'd put some money on that. Let me just work my way towards it. So we go to Lulusia Kingdom, and in fact, this kingdom has been in the series before. In fact, in the previous chapter with Kobe, I think it was Princess Komani, that was her name. That was the princess from this kingdom, the princess who was kidnapped like in the submarine. So that's the princess from this kingdom. So just a bunch of bad luck for the people of Lulusia. Anyway, Pinkbeard, who works under Blackbeard, is taking advantage of the fact that the king is away because he's heading over to the Reverie and he's just terrorizing civilians. He has a 52 million berry bounty, which is extremely low, just a total joke. I mean, technically Chopper's bounty is lower, but Chopper's bounty is supposed to be a joke. And then the RA shows up, revolutionary commanders take care of things, wreck Pinkbeard, and the thing is though is that this character introduction for all four of them, I can't say that I left this chapter feeling hyped about them, and it could be intentional, because here's the thing, right? Oda knows how to make an epic entrance. He knows how to hype up a character introduction. Do you remember how hyped up it was when Sabo came back in Dressrosa? Do you remember how amazing it was when Kaido fell out of the sky? Do you remember how amazing it was when Katakuri shot that jelly bean and then Capone was there to talk about his observation hockey? Those are epic character introductions. For these four, not so much, but I strongly suspect that could be an intentional way of getting the readers to lower their guard and be like, oh, well, I mean, this seems like a pretty sort of like bland introduction to the revolutionary commanders. There's like four of them, one for each cardinal point, north, south, west, and east. And yeah, apparently they have like cool devil fruits, but that's pretty much it. Like, we don't know that much about them. So I'm just going to go through them by order, and then I'm going to tell you what's up, what I think is up. I mean, because there are so many connections that you can draw from this one chapter of One Piece. It's crazy. So first we have Morley, who is the West Commander, and his facial features really remind me of Pound. So there could be a connection there. They might be related. I don't know. His Devil Fruit ability kind of reminds me of Pika's Devil Fruit. He had kind of the ability to mold the terrain and sort of change the earth. But also Senor Pink's Devil Fruit, because he had the ability to swim on land and stuff. So it's kind of similar. Like when he comes out of the earth, it almost seems as if the earth is giving birth to him. Then we got Belo Betty, who is holding up the flag for the Revolutionary Army. On page 10 on Manga Stream, you can actually see the logo for the Revolutionary Army. It's kind of cool. It says RA and then has the face of a dragon for dragon. So she also has horns, but the interesting thing about her is her Devil Fruit ability. I actually checked both translations, and both translations said that she has the power to awaken each person's inner power. Just the use of the term awaken was kind of interesting, because I thought to myself, wait, does that mean that she can encourage people to become stronger, but does that also mean that she has the ability to perhaps awaken Devil Fruit powers? So Betty is the commander from the East Army, whereas Lindbergh, who's up next, is the commander for the South Army. And Lindbergh is like this little munchkin fella. He's like this little rodent guy, and I guess he specializes in weapons, because he was saying that he had some weapons that he wanted to try out, so he's kind of like the technician, I guess. And just based off of that, the fact that he was so gung-ho about these new weapons, these new inventions, he might have a connection with Vegapunk. I'm just going to throw that out there. He might. And finally, we have Karasu from the North Army. Now, Karasu was actually foreshadowed way, way before in Dressrosa, when Sabo actually used his crows to leave Dressrosa, and it seems like he's just spending a lot of time whispering. Like, you have these speech bubbles where there's just a bunch of dots, he's whispering gee, that's not suspicious at all. But before I get into that, by the end, Pinkbeard's you'll pay for this, Blackbeard won't stand for this, and they basically tell him Blackbeard isn't known for caring about his subordinates, which in a way kind of sets him apart from Luffy, because Luffy cares about the people that work under him, and he actually tells when they form the fleet, he tells them, if you need help, just call us up and we'll show up. So that kind of serves to differentiate Blackbeard from Luffy, among other things, right? But yeah, I thought that was interesting. However, I do remember that when Burgess was in Baltigo, injured because of his fight against Sabo, the Blackbeard pirates did show up. Burgess was yo, I'm in Baltigo, come pick me up. I think it was Shiryu or somebody else, telling him yo, where are you, Burgess? We'll just go pick you up. Just tell us where you are. So they went there and wrecked the place. So I don't know if it's true that Blackbeard doesn't care about his subordinates. Maybe he just doesn't care about scrubs that are worth 52 million. Then again, Blackbeard did end up killing Thatch to get his Devil Fruit power. So who knows? I guess at this point, it just depends on what happened to Burgess after they left Baltigo. Was he able to rejoin the crew with no consequences after getting picked up, or did Blackbeard enact some punishment on him for taking that massive L to my man Sabo? Now here's the thing. By the end of the chapter, it appears that Betty gives the citizens the Reverie card to the Revolutionary Army. It's not confirmed that it's a Reverie card, but if it is, I'm like, is that really a smart idea, you think? Because what if the Blackbeard pirates do show up to check up on Pinkbeard, and they take that Reverie card for themselves, like, okay, now we have a compass, now we have a map. I mean, it's not really a map, but the Reverie card does point in the direction of the person that has the name on the card. So if that card gets intercepted, like that's literally just a pathway to get to the revolutionaries, wherever they are. I just don't think it was a good idea to give those people the Reverie card. And Oda showed us that panel for a reason. It's not a throwaway panel. It'll come back. I know it. It's just because it's like a plot device almost. Okay, now I can get to the thing that I've been dying to talk about ever since I read this chapter. All right, I have the glasses for a reason. Oh no! How can I possibly best you? We're talking about Doflamingo, guys. Okay, I would highly recommend that you rewatch his speech about the Throne Wars after Dressrosa. There's like a silhouette Easter egg there with one of the revolutionary commanders foreshadowing him. I don't know if that's supposed to be Morley, but who knows? And to be honest, that's not really what I'm getting at. So, in this speech, Dofi is kind of like laughing at Sudu. And I just want you to keep in mind that Dofi worked under Kaido, okay? Just keep that in mind. Keep that in the back of your head. I'm going to make sense. Just trust me. Now, I want to go back to Fishman Island very quick. So if you remember, there was a conversation between Neptune and Robin, in which Neptune revealed that Princess Shirahoshi, the mermaid princess, was in fact an ancient weapon. She's Poseidon. She has the ability to talk and control the Sea Kings. And if you control the Sea Kings, you pretty much control the entire sea routes of the entire One Piece world. That being said, we know that Caribou overheard this conversation, and then later on, Caribou got arrested. Not arrested, but he got taken in by Drake. We know for a fact that Drake is in Wano. He's been working for Kaido. Maybe he's planning on betraying him, but that's not the point. He captured Caribou, so now Caribou is in Wano. And given the fact that Caribou is a total coward, it's very logical to assume that he may have spilled the beans about Shirahoshi to Kaido. That's where Kaido's speech comes in when he gets introduced for the first time. He says, it's time to start a war. The greatest war this world has ever seen. He says he doesn't care, okay, if this boring world gets destroyed. Throwing this back to Shirahoshi, the power of the ancient weapons is the power to destroy the world, okay? So, if Kaido knows about Shirahoshi, and he knows that the Reverie is coming up, it's very possible that he would like to kidnap Shirahoshi to use her as an ancient weapon for himself. Now I want you to go to the page in this chapter where we see all 4 revolutionary commanders in individual panels, where we see all 4, all right? Take a good look at all 4 of them. Have you ever played that game or those games like when you were little where it's like, pick the thing that doesn't belong. Which one of this is not like the rest? Play that game with that page. Look, there are 4 commanders. 3 are wearing like steampunk hats, all right, and goggles, all right, pretty much like Sabo and Koala, all right. One of them is not. Their facial expressions, for the most part, seem to be kind of amicable, friendly even, except for one, okay. Karasu has a very, very sinister look, okay. He's not wearing a hat nor goggles, so he's not keeping up with the theme. And the way his facial features are drawn, especially the way that he's wearing like this beak of a mask, reminds me a lot of Jack. If you look at this picture, you cannot tell me that there's not a similarity between Karasu's features and Jack's features. Also, both Jack and Karasu are wearing these coats that are, again, not similar to the type of attire that the revolutionary commanders are using. In addition, much like every single one of the Beast Pirates, Karasu has an animal theme. He is the crow. Now, historically, in literature, crows have usually been used as spies, okay? You see this all the time in different types of books, even in Naruto with Itachi. He was a double agent, okay? By the end of this chapter, Karasu is told to turn on his communicator, to turn on his speaker, and he's like, oh, I forgot. Initially, I thought that was a gag, because I thought, oh, it's supposed to be funny. That's why he was whispering, because he didn't have the thing on. But what if he didn't want people to hear what he was saying? What if he was communicating with other people? It's been confirmed now that the RA is going to pick a fight with the Celestial Dragons at the Reverie. At the Reverie, that's where Shirahoshi will be, okay? Now, in his speech, Doflamingo says, "Tell the Celestial Dragons up in Mariejois to buckle those seatbelts because they are about to be dragged down. Something is coming for them." And at first I thought, oh yeah, end of series. The people at the top will come down because it's just way too corrupt of a system. But what if Doflamingo knew that the Revolutionary Army was planning an attack on Mariejois? And the reason why he knew, remember, Doflamingo was working for Kaido. So what if Doflamingo knew that the Revolutionary Army was going to attack because Kaido has a spy, has a rat within the RA? Long story short, I think Karasu is working for Kaido, and I think that he's going to use the opportunity as the revolutionaries attack Mariejois to kidnap Shirahoshi and go back to his master. And unfortunately, that'll end up working against the revolutionaries if they decide to go ahead with their plan to either attack Mariejois or make some type of a statement. Like, it's just, I do not see this working well for the RA. I really don't. Also, if you remember, Mariejois is at the top of a cliff. It's a very tall location. It's not at ground level. It's pretty tall. It's a long distance. The Vinsmokes had to use like their snails to climb up the red line. So that's where Mariejois is. And I mean, it makes sense that it would be the crow guy because he could use his crows to take Shirahoshi hostage and just kind of like fly her off or escape with her via flight. Now, I'm not going to go so far as to say that I think that Karasu is like a calamity in hiding, but it just, a lot of stuff just matches up, and it matches up the wrong way. It's just like, that's the way that I've chosen to connect the dots, at least for now. And that's going to do it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you appreciated the video, please make it known by leaving a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel for more One Piece content, comment down below with your thoughts. Catch you later. Thank you. Bye.